Hello everyone, my name is Alexey, and today I would like to tell you more about objects. The main part of the video will be about deep customization of JavaScript objects, about property descriptors, how to hide or show property, for example, for the cycle. After that, I will show you how to work with getters and setters. We'll show a couple of techniques working with objects. Okay, first let's create an object, but not in the usual way. So we will not create an object using const char and just curly braces. It's usual way. We will create a new object through object create. So object create. And this method takes two parameters. First parameter is prototype. We will talk about it lately in this video. And second parameter is our properties. And let's create a couple of properties. For example, brand value will be Rolls-Royce. And let's create, for example, model. And model will be race. And let's log this object. So log car. And as we can see in our console, we have an object with brand Rolls-Royce and model race. All right. But what if we want to iterate through these properties? Let's write for in cycle. So for let key in car, and let's log, for example, key and car and just key for now. And as we can see, nothing in the console. Why? Simple answer. By default, all objects which are created with object create and has properties, all properties of this object are not enumerable. What this means? This means that these properties will not included into cycles. And if we will pass enumerable true, for example, for Rolls-Royce, and enumerable false, for example, for race, its model, we will see interesting example. Key brand, so brand, was locked. So now this value, Rolls-Royce, is participating in some cycle operations. So if we will pass false here, empty console. If we will return true and return, for example, true for race, we will see these properties in our for in cycle, and we can log also values. So car key, okay, brand Rolls-Royce, model race. It was a simple explanation of enumerable property. Okay, we talked about enumerable descriptor, and now let's try to change one of our object properties. So for example, we want to change brand to Porsche. So car brand equals to Porsche. And as we can see, nothing was changed. Really, nothing. We still have brand Rolls-Royce and model race. But we want to change car brand to Porsche. How we can achieve it and why it doesn't work? The main reason that if we create object with object create method, writable descriptor, default value of writable descriptor is false. So we have descriptor writable here, and default value is false. If we will try to change it to true, we will see that we changed our brand and now brand Porsche. And we still don't have a possibility to change our model. So as we can see, car model equals to 911, and nothing changed. We also could write here writable true, and our whole object will be changed, our two properties will be changed, and we will have brand Porsche and model 911. So with writable descriptor, we can create settings for our properties if it will be writable or not. Okay, let's talk about last property descriptor, and first let's remove one of our properties. So we can write delete car model, and as we can see, we still have brand and model in our object. And the main reason for it is when we are creating object through object create method, default property descriptor configurable is false, and when we will set it to true, as we can see, we can remove our properties. And for example, we can delete car model, and also we can delete car brand. And yes, it won't be deleted, so we also can pass configurable true here, and delete all our properties from the object. With property descriptor configurable, we can control if our property could be deleted or not. Okay, let's talk about getters and setters in JavaScript objects. So we have a car which was created with object create function, and it has brand, model, and date of issue 2015. So sometimes it's desirable to allow access to a property that returns a dynamically computed value, or you may want to reflect the status, an internal variable, without requiring the use of explicit method calls. And in JavaScript, this can be accomplished with use of getters. And for example, we need to count somehow age of this car. So it will be property age. And here we need to write method get, and it will be our getter. And inside this get function, we can compute something based on the object and return it. And for example, we will return new date, get full year, and minus this date of issue. Yep. And now we will have a possibility to get an age of the car. And let's try to do it. So car.age. As we can see, 8. Today is 2023, so it's the right answer. And in the get function, we also can execute some different logic. For example, document body style background equals to, for example, blue. And as we can see, our background was changed, and okay, we can execute some logic with getters and access computed values with like a regular property with dot property notation. Next, let's talk about setters. And as you may think, setters is opposite to getter, and with setter we also can take some value and do some logic and, for example, override or change some property of an object. And let's try to do it. So for example, in property age we have getter, and also we can have a setter here, and it will be set. Here will be value. Here will be value. And for example, with this setter, we want to change the date of issue of the car. Let's try to do it. So when we are setting the value, we need to change this date of issue equals to new date get full year minus value. Cool. And let's try to change the date of issue, but firstly we need to do this property writable. So let's try to write writable and set it to true. And now we can set the age of our car. And for example, we want this car to have age 5, and we can write car age equals to, for example, 5. Yes, and as we can see, our date of issue was changed. And because today is 2023 and -5 is 2018, so all right. And with setter we executed specific logic and changed the property of our object. Here we also can execute some logic about background, about changing styles, whatever, and it will work. It's how you can maybe encapsulate some logic with object using getters and setters correspondingly. Also, I would like to mention that frameworks like React, Angular, or Vue use getters and setters for executing some logic which could be bound with some changes into layout when you are, for example, running use state or setting new state of your application. So getters and setters are triggered, and for example, framework checks the whole tree of your application, DOM tree, document object model, and re-renders some part of it. And really it's common practice for development frameworks, libraries, etc. Okay, and the last part about which I would like to say, it's about prototypes. So as we can see, our first object, first parameter in object create function is an object, and this is prototype. It's prototype on which will be based our new object described here. So for example, let's add one method to this prototype, and let's try to figure out what's going on. And as we can see, we have prototype with getAge method and a new object with property brand, model, and date of issue. And as we can see in our console, we will see brand, date of issue, and model. But in prototype, if we will unwrap it, we will have a getAge function, and we can access it and we can call it. So card.getAge, and as we can see 8. Nice, so it's working. And we can write here any properties, any methods, and they will be accessible through new object. And one tricky thing I want to show you, that is working with cycles. So if we will write for const car key in car, yes, and we will log our car key. Nice. And as we can see in our cycle, we have brand, model, date of issue, and also getAge. So we iterated through our new object, and then cycles goes into prototype and log our getAge. And it's right behavior, but in some cases we don't want to iterate through the for example, our prototype, because here we, for example, have some methods, and we would like to iterate through properties, and properties, it's like first level object, and all methods in prototype, we don't want to integrate it, and we can use has own function here. So we can write if object has own, here we can pass object car, if object has own car and car key, we would like to log it. We would like to log it, and as we can see in our console, we have brand, model, and date of issue. So It's how prototypes working. Okay, that's all I wanted to tell you for today. We talked about how we can configure objects with descriptors, how we can use getters and setters to compute values when writing or reading properties to an object. We also looked at what prototypes are and how to work with them. I'm glad if you learned something useful for yourself, so please like, subscribe, stay tuned. Please check the description and follow my Telegram channel. Bye.